For a very, very interesting one interview I've been looking forward to for a very long time is our mayor's spotlight on the City Council series. Mayor Geordin Hill-Lewis was kind enough to give us his time and educate us on the interesting things and all the exciting developments that are happening in Cape Town. So I thank you so much, sir, for your time. Now,
great pleasure.
Just pardon me here. All right, so your first question, Mr. Mayor, is could you please share some of the latest success stories in the city of Cape Town?
Yeah, sure. One of our focus areas has been to secure energy independence because South Africa is currently experiencing a terrible lack of energy security, with a lot of rolling blackouts across the country. That has terrible consequences for the economy, for people's lives. And so in Cape Town, we said that we were going to be quite aggressive and assertive about trying to secure our own energy supply so that we could end the terrible practice of blackouts and the damage it does to the economy. So early this year, in February, we got our first major call for proposals out for independent power producers to provide power to the city of Cape Town, which, when those projects come online in the next couple of years, they will deliver enough energy to our city so that we can significantly reduce our reliance on the national centralized energy grid and end those rolling blackouts in Cape Town. That will provide a huge localized economic boost, which in turn will also help get more people out of poverty, help attract more businesses to the city, get people into work, which is ultimately the point. Secondly, I would say the advances that we are making in community safety and keeping residents safer are noteworthy by the investments that we are making in additional law enforcement officers, and most excitingly in crime-fighting technology in communities, whether it be a huge expanded rollout of CCTV, that's a well-established technology that's hardly new, but also things like gunshot echo, location technology, facial recognition, drone surveillance technology above crime hotspots in the city. So we're making significant investments in cutting-edge crime technology as well to keep residents safer. There's a lot more I could speak of, but I think let's leave it at those two.
Of course, and all these very cutting-edge solutions, like you said. Now, the next one is, what makes the city of Cape Town a unique tourist destination, both for leisure and business travel?
Cape Town is an exceptionally beautiful city with some of the most attractive natural scenery in the world. Not just its iconic Table Mountain, but also some of the world's greatest beaches, some of the world's most beautiful and diverse floral kingdom. So it's a really lovely place naturally, but there are many beautiful places in the world. And so there's more than just that in Cape Town. It also has this unique cultural, historical and political tradition or legacy that makes it really a fascinating place to visit culturally. It really has its roots in 16th and 17th century global seafaring economy. Before that, in hunter-gatherer societies, then onto slave economies from the east, mainly from Malaysia and India, and it has a wonderful history of liberal politics, and then, of course, the history of apartheid politics, with being the place of incarceration of Nelson Mandela. So all of these different cultures, food types, religions come together in this wonderful melting pot city with a really rich history, making it an awesome place to visit. Then for the business traveler, obviously, if you are traveling for business, you also want to do so in a pleasant place where you can bring your family along, where the facilities and the amenities are great, and where you can have a good time as well as getting your business done. So for those reasons, it really is an ideal place to visit.
And I'll certainly echo you on that, because the first time I came to Cape Town, I was 5 years old. And my mother was doing her master's degree at the University of Cape Town. Mm-hmm. Over time, I've had this very rich experience in Cape Town. I've played golf there as a pro golfer on the Sunshine and European Tour. And then recently in 2019, we actually co-hosted an ultra high net worth summit in Cape Town. And it was quite nice because we were hosting in the same week as the YPO. And so everyone was there. It was such a beautiful experience. So I echo you on that. Mr. Mayor, considering that other African cities are quickly gaining strong brands in the global investor community, how does the city of Cape Town intend to keep its rank as the most business and investor-friendly hub for foreign capital?
That's a great question. We are taking this ambition very, very seriously, because you are right that there are other African cities and other cities in the kind of developing world who are getting increasingly aggressive and competitive about this. So we cannot in any way rest on past achievements, rest on the comfort of past achievements. So we are looking at each of those indicators of the World Bank's ease of doing business report and how we can improve on those metrics. We know that the World Bank has discontinued that report, but nevertheless, we can still use those metrics and develop our own additional metrics that can be independently, objectively verified for how we are improving the ease of doing business here in Cape Town. And we've set a bold ambition. We want to be the easiest place to do business on the African continent. And that is not currently the case. We are falling behind some of our African peers. So we've got work to do to play catch up and then to exceed the work that they have done. And we are very clear about that goal, and we won't stop until we get there.
Right. So the next one, I know you've already touched on some of the urban infrastructure that's kind of very technology intensive in terms of security with the drones and so forth. But on a broader perspective, how is technology changing Cape Town? And are there any technology initiatives like tech business hubs or policies that you can share with our listeners?
We have a number of initiatives that we support to try and foster a better skills pipeline of tech innovation in the city. So the Silicon Cape initiative, the Bandwidth Barn, the Cape Information Technology initiative called City, and there's some exciting work being done at the moment on building a kind of central, really massive tech and fintech hub campus, basically inside the city center, where fintech businesses and tech innovators in general could co-locate in a campus that would really put us right at the front, the top of the class for tech ecosystem and infrastructure on the African continent. And so we're pursuing those discussions and those ideas very very hard, and excited for where they may lead.
Very, very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff. I'm sure the Nigerians would be
Exactly.
would be interested to see how that goes along. But
Exactly right. Exactly right. That's the idea, to steal their thunder. We're getting competitive, you see. We want to win.
Okay. So my last question to you is, and of course, you can add some more information after this one, should your time allow. Are there any built environment projects and programs that institutional investors may be interested to learn about?
Well, we are increasingly, I'll talk about two in particular. Firstly, we really want to make it easier to do significant property investments in Cape Town, because we understand that the delivery of more plentiful housing in Cape Town is essential to driving the integration of the city and the future growth of the city. So this is probably the most important plank in our ease of doing business platform, is how to make it easier to do significant property investments in Cape Town. And in addition to that, we also have got a project where we are looking at significantly accelerating our infrastructure spend. This is all the basic infrastructure on which the growth of a city depends, really. Really major roads projects, really major, very major public transport projects, significant new water sources. We have a very dry city, very arid climate, and so what we need is new additional water sources to provide for our water needs for the decades ahead. So things like water recycling plants, desalination plants, aquifer drilling setups. So there's a whole lot of really exciting, major, very significant infrastructure projects in the decade ahead that we have to undertake to support the growth of our city. Now, some of those we will not be able to fund on our own. And so, one of the interesting things that we have to start considering is private sector investment-driven infrastructure funding, particularly for that infrastructure like water infrastructure, sewage infrastructure, electricity infrastructure that provides a constant, steady, and predictable revenue stream. That is the kind of infrastructure project that investors may very well like to get behind and fund. And so that, I think, is going to become increasingly common in Cape Town in the years ahead.
Well, of course. Now, those are very interesting points, and it sounds like the core infrastructure of the Cape Town economy.
Yes.
I'm just also quite curious. I know you mentioned at the beginning that Cape Town has been this melting pot of inflection points in human history as we know modern civilization today. As a gateway for perhaps people coming outside of the continent who want to explore opportunities in Africa. People prefer to be headquartered in one place more than the other. So yeah. I'm just curious about what you would say about that. How is Cape Town unique if someone wanted to headquarter an Africa-wide operation, so to speak?
It's absolutely the best place to do it because you get lifestyle plus business. It's easy to access the rest of the continent here. Wherever your business interests are on the continent, there are easily accessible flights to and from Cape Town. In fact, there is an absolute rush at the moment. There's a boom in new flights to Cape Town, with new airlines announcing new flights almost on a weekly basis. So it's a great place for accessibility to the rest of the continent. And you have the added benefit of a wonderful lifestyle, great places to live for your family, great schools to go for your children, and wonderful things to do in your free time. I think one of the best wine regions in the world outside of Western Europe, or certainly one of the oldest, and so much just wonderful outdoor living to be done and things to see.
Yeah, the wine region for sure. As a matter of fact, I don't think you could call it Cape Town, so to speak, but I was at the Devonvale Wine and Country Estate.
Yes.
I pre-queued for the South African Open in 2008. So that was beautiful. That was beautiful. I can agree on that. I can agree on that. Well, Mr. Mayor, if you have any additional points, please do share. But if none, then it's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to host you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for the kind invitation. And let me know when you're back in South Africa so that we can go and play golf together, and you can show me how to improve my golf game. You sound like an absolute pro. I'm still a hacker, but I'd love to have a game with you.
It's been lovely, and I definitely will. I'll definitely let you know. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.